So I expected this movie to be worse than it was, but it still wasn't good. That's it. That's my intro. Hi, I'm Amanda. You're watching Swell Entertainment, and today we are talking about Don't Worry, Darling, a new movie that has a lot of worry around the production, the release, and the movie itself. And I decided that I wasn't going to make this video about the drama of Don't Worry, Darling or surrounding Don't Worry, Darling for a variety of reasons, but mainly there's so much of it and it covers such a wide span of time from pre-production to production, post-production, and now release of the film that I don't want to do that because I really want to talk about the movie itself and the issues I had with the final act. I also want to preface this whole video with I am still recovering from my jet lag from flying back from Germany, and I am very, very tired. A little bit of a brain fog. I don't feel good. I don't feel great. If I get small details about the movie wrong or in particular don't remember exact lines or wording of things, that's why I'm very, it's gone. We'll see how I fix it in editing, but that's where we're at. So I was actually really looking forward to this movie when they started filming and all of that because I am first and foremost, a Florence Pugh stan. I have not seen a single performance from her that I am not completely floored by, that I don't adore. But also, this is like the first real movie that's not like a small cameo. You can count Eternals however you want to in that Harry Styles was doing, you know, where he's like actually like a fairly lead character. So I was interested in seeing that because I like his music. I don't know how I feel about him as an actor, and I don't know how I feel about him as an actor after this performance. I really want to talk about and break down and basically try and adjust a little bit to make it fit better is the final act of this movie, because I felt that though I was actually enjoying the movie for the first half, 2/3 of it, the final act kind of ruins everything else for me and brings a lot into question and also abandoned a lot of things that I thought were just not fleshed out well. The final act is very rushed and it tries to put everything into a bow in a very wonky way. And there was a lot of interesting elements here that are just not executed well. And, you know, you can take however you want or believe however you want about the rumors surrounding the movie and all of that, but what we have is the finished product that is in front of us. Don't Worry, Darling. The Victory Project is like a 1950s rich person living community. Our main couple is Jack and Alice. Very much in love. They seem to very much like their lives. Jack goes off and works for the Victory Project, and Alice is a doting wife and a housewife. She cleans up after the house. She makes her deviled eggs for parties, all this stuff. It's very domestic. The wives are told they're working on progressive materials, top secret, and none of them actually know what is going on at headquarters. So we are shown just kind of Alice's life throughout the Victory Project, her time with her friends, making reference to Margaret. Margaret had an incident and it has left her kind of in a sort of despondent state. She's not doing well. Her husband is missing a lot of work. There's just a lot going on. There is a party at Frank's house and his wife, Shelley, played by Gemma Chan, which, side note, she never misses. Margaret's there, asks like, what are we doing here? Why are we here? Certain things start happening that Alice is realizing, aside from just Margaret, that things are not as they seem. There's one point where she's making food and she notices that the eggs aren't really eggs and she's able to crack the shells and there's no yolk inside any of the eggs. We learn that the reason that Margaret has become distraught, essentially, and has become over-medicated by her husband and Dr. Collins is because she went for a walk into the desert with her son, because she thought she saw something. The one rule of the Victory Project is to stay in the Victory Project. Do not go beyond the borders. Do not go to headquarters. It's not safe and it'll put everyone in jeopardy if you go. That's the one rule. And Margaret took her son into the desert and they found Margaret. They never found him. The belief is that he died and she carries around a little toy plane that he had with her. Okay, a red toy plane. Remember the red toy plane? She claims that the Victory Project, took her son from her to punish her. That basically he's not dead. They just took him from her. And this is her punishment, is people thinking she's crazy. One day, instead of going shopping with the women, Alice decides that she's going to just ride the trolley to the end of the line. And the trolley man is about to turn around when Alice sees a plane, a red plane, crash in the distance in the desert. And she freaks out. The trolley man does not see this. And she says, we have to go help him. And the trolley man gets very upset and starts saying, I can't leave. This is my route. I have to go back. Storms off to go and hopefully help this person of the plane crash that she saw. She ends up making it to headquarters. I don't know if she knows that it's headquarters or not, but that's where she gets. She touches it, blacks out, wakes up in bed in her home. She comes outside, out to the kitchen because she hears noise, and Frank is cooking her dinner. And she starts getting very upset because she's like, I had a horrible dream. Like, she's thinking that maybe she imagined all of this because things aren't making sense. There was no plane crash when she got to the top of the mountain. More and more things like that keep happening. There's one point where she's cleaning the glass and the glass starts feeling like it's smushing her and she can't breathe. There's another part where she's putting plastic wrap on food, wraps it around her head, and essentially tries to kill herself, and then realizes she can't breathe and pulls it off of her face. At one point, Margaret calls Alice at home and says, you went out there, didn't you? I don't know how Margaret knew, but Margaret knows somehow that Alice went to headquarters. Alice tells Margaret, you need to stop this. This is upsetting. You need to stop. Do not call me. Basically, hangs up. Alice is, again, trying to act like things are normal, but she's not doing well. She knows something is wrong, but she doesn't know what's wrong. I forgot to talk about this part, but Alice goes to another dance class, and that's where she sees in the mirror Margaret, and she starts moving her arms and realizes that Margaret in the mirror is mirroring her. Margaret starts slamming her head into the mirror, and Alice screams when Margaret is seen bloody. She looks away. The other women are staring at her, and she storms out because Margaret's not there. Obviously, she was not there. It was a hallucination. Alice goes home, and she sees Margaret standing on the roof of the house. She cuts her throat and falls down. Alice starts screaming, starts trying to run to her, but then there's the moving company that are also the cleaners of the Victory Project. They're in red suits. They run up to grab Margaret, and also another group runs up and pulls away Alice. Alice is with Jack, and Jack is like, she's okay. She just had a fall. She slipped cleaning the window. She's gonna be fine. And she's like, she slit her throat. I don't understand how she could be okay. There was blood everywhere. I saw it. They wouldn't let me help her. And so they call in Dr. Collins, and Dr. Collins also reiterates she had a fall, but, she needs more help than we can provide. And so her husband is no longer working for the Victory Project. Dr. Collins prescribes Alice some pills to help calm her down, basically. And we had seen that Margaret's husband had been trying to feed her pills. And so Jack sees that Alex is upset and is like, she doesn't need that. We're going to be all right. It's like, okay, we'll keep it on file. But she sees that they actually have a Margaret file in Dr. Collins' briefcase. So when Jack is walking him out, he forgets the briefcase. She steals the file. The file has nothing in it. It's just like redacted entirely. She burns the file. There is a big party. Jack is like, you're not ready yet. Jack brings her a dress, but then he also says, I think we should have a baby. I love you. I want more of you. I want a little you. And everyone on TikTok, or not everyone, there's a lot of people who are very obsessed with this line from Harry. Because honestly, he's overexposed at this point. I couldn't see Jack. I was like, this is Harry Styles. I want him to do better, but he's not. That's the vibe I got from his performance, to be frank with you. That line doesn't do anything for me because he then says the words, it'll be fun, and then goes on to leave. It's like, yeah, for you, it'd be fun to have a literal human because you'll have a little mini you that you get to play with when you feel like it. Whereas she is already taking care of you and the house, and now she would have to take care of the children. So it's like more work on you, which I know that's why that line is there. It's a commentary. It's like, yeah, it's for him, it's fun. For her, it's work, And not that kids can't be fun for women, but like that's the children are responsibilities. They're not something fun to do to shake things up, in my opinion, but whatever. She's upset, but they go to the party, and she starts getting overwhelmed at the party pretty much right away. She sees Frank staring at her. Frank calls Jack on stage and gives him a promotion to seemingly a job that he made up on the spot. If the way he's looking around, like senior team, like the way he says it, it's like, yeah, he made it up on the spot. And so I took that as he's doing that to fuck with Alice more so than rewarding Jack, or also to kind of fuck with Jack a little bit, because the entire performance that Jack gives, then literally doing a dance routine to appease Frank, I think a commentary on how the fans of these incel icons behave towards these guys. They don't care about anything else. They want to appease this type of alpha male in their minds. They idolize this guy. He would choose appeasing Frank over his wife being upset and wanting to leave in that moment, because that's what he cares about, essentially. Alice flees to the bathroom and is freaking out. Bunny follows her in, and Alice starts venting to her about everything. And Bunny says, "Stop it. You sound like Margaret. Get a hold of yourself. This is the biggest night of Jack's life, and you're in here having a meltdown. Are you kidding me?" And leaves her there. To celebrate Jack's promotion, Alice throws a party basically to get Frank and his wife Shelley into the house, basically to kind of continue to play the part. And they have also Peg and her husband, and then Violet and her husband. Frank goes into the kitchen while Alice is cooking and is like, "Did you find what you were looking for? Like, I've been looking for someone like you." Great men rarely get where they're supposed to be without being challenged in some way. And I've waited for someone to come along, and yet here you are, making dinner like a good girl. Basically saying like, yes, I know what you're doing. I know this. If this is your play, I'll see what it goes. I hope you don't give up. I hope you keep trying. I'm intrigued to see what you'll do. And so I thought this was a very good role for Chris Pine. I wanted the conclusion of it all in the third act to be done way better. Alice decides to sit at the head of the table across from Frank versus letting Jack sit there as he was going to. And Jack just kind of is like, okay. There's choices made for Jack's portrayal in this that I don't think work well with what we give in the final act, because they kind of give him like the very much in love with his wife, doting husband type of thing, which, not to say that that's not a part of him that loves and adores his wife, but then with the overall shtick of the entire movie and what ends up being revealed, I feel like there would be more of a "you owe me this" type of mentality. A bit more of a "this is your place, this is mine" mentality. And I don't think he would stand for letting Alice take his seat in that moment. If anything, it wouldn't be like, "Oh, my wife wants to sit there." It would be, "Let me not make a scene in front of Frank so that he doesn't know that I'm not in control right now." It devolves, and that's where we get the early release scene of Alice being like, "Where did you meet Bill? Where did you vacation?" I bet we've all done this because we only remember what they've let us remember. What about this food? She basically starts getting hysterical, trying to convince them to start questioning things. Frank is just kind of letting it happen, and then all of a sudden Shelley goes, "Enough," and starts ripping into her. Side note, Gemma, I know there's like ways to be typecast, okay? But if Gemma can always just have like a read that she does in one of these movies, the way she ripped apart her husband in Crazy Rich Asians is on par with like this whole delivery of this scene, in this scene of her speech to Alice. There was a line at the end where she's like, "Is it desperation or a need to be seen as exciting?" I think is the line, but I think I'm remembering it wrong. But it was something like that, and it was just so good. She's so good. Oh my God. I need you to read someone for Phil every single movie, please. Most of the acting is impeccable in this, which is why I was like, God, I wish the execution of this was better, because like these are some great roles for these people, and they're just not executed well. There's the execution really, oh God. Alice and Frank are the only ones left at the table, and Frank just says, "I really expected more from you." Oh God, I would die. He was expecting a chess play, and instead you flipped the board over. That's what you did. Okay, goodbye. Walks out. Jack comes back in, and Alice and him are talking. She's like basically pleading with him. "Harry, I need you to believe what you're saying. You are trying to convince your wife that you know what's best, that you are going to protect her, and you need her to listen to you. You need her to follow you. I don't believe that you need that. I believe that you maybe want that, but I don't believe that you need that." And I think that that's just something that you got to work on acting wise. Like what do you need from her right now? Not, "I want her to stop being difficult." That's not enough. She basically tells him, "I don't feel safe anymore. I don't want to be here. I love you. I want to be with you. Let's go be somewhere else and just be you and me together." And he says yes. And she's like, "Okay, but we have to leave tonight." So she packs a bag. He gets in the car. He's in the driver's seat. And she's like, "Okay, let's go. I brought us a snack in case we drive through the night." Oh, it's just so good in this movie. Jack starts saying, "I'm sorry, I can't," and just starts having a full-on meltdown while his wife is being dragged out of the car by the moving men, the red suit men. I just feel like maybe 2 or 3 more takes from Harry, and we would have gotten there with this scene in particular. He just started getting loud. You know, and I don't know if that's enough. We are then shown Alice going through treatment, electroshock treatment, and she starts seeing visions of herself in scrubs. And this is where we get incel Harry, which I did think was funny. But basically, her and Jack were together in the real world. They were dating. She was a surgeon, I believe. He lost his job and she's like, it's okay. It's all right. Like, we'll find another job. I'll just take up extra shifts. So she starts taking up extra shifts. He's unemployed and she comes home and he shuts down an audio podcast thing that he's listening to of Frank's voice. He says, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten. She's like, well, why didn't you eat? Which, like, same. Yeah, why the fuck didn't you eat? Were you waiting for me? She worked a 30-hour shift. God, I try to have empathy for everyone, but sometimes these guys, it's like, okay, did the common sense leave your body? What's going on? He just keeps feeling like, no, dance with me, dance with me. And she's like, I just worked a 30-hour shift. I sewed up 10 people today. I want to go to bed. And he's all upset. Keep seeing these images of these women dancing, lots of eye imagery. And then she is brought back into herself, back on the table. And then we cut to the next scene of her coming home from treatment. And it's, welcome home, Alice. Welcome back, Alice. Bunny is there and she's, they're friends now again. And Jack is all excited that his wife is home. She's having memory issues. Jack comes home and Alice has made dinner. It's back to basically a recreation of the initial scene with Jack and Alice at the start of the movie. She's made dinner. He's getting a drink. They're talking about dinner. And then she starts having visions again and is kind of piecing everything together. And we finally get the truth revealed very quickly. So we saw that she was a doctor or a surgeon. Okay, they call her Dr. Warren. Jack decides to be a part of the Victory Project and goes through the process, the interview process, and his hair's much longer, so years have passed. He put his chosen background as British. So in the real world, he's like American. Only reason I can think of why they did the British thing to make up for some of the acting issues exhibited by Styles throughout the movie. Is he the only one that decided to use the British option? The British Sims feature? Is that what I'm understanding? Okay, chosen wife, Alice Warren, do you understand that you are in charge of operating the device yourself and you must check in and out each day in order to continue to remain in the Victory Project type of thing? Yes, I do. Gets photos done, all of that. And then we cut to some clips, some quick cuts. There we go. Him having flowers, going to the door, and what looks like Alice realizing that she's being dragged. Then we are shown her chained to the bed of sorts, or restrained to the bed on an IV, and he drips water into her mouth using a sponge. She has her eyes propped open with the Victory device scanning her eyelids. And he lays down with her in bed and then props his own devices on and goes into the Victory Project. It's a simulation. The whole thing is a simulation. The real world, they live in a powerless, dilapidated apartment in a sense. And every day he is to leave to go make money to continue to allow them to live inside the Victory Project. Because it is like a luxury complex of sorts. She stays there the entire time. He gets to come and go. She realizes this and he realizes she realizes this. So then there's the whole back and forth. Skipping ahead a little bit because I'm going to explain some things, but skipping ahead, he is like trying to get her, don't you want to be perfect with me? All this stuff, stay here. He drops to his knees and is holding her around the waist. She can't breathe. He's trying to keep her there. It's like, no, stay with me. Stay with me. I love you. You're my wife. Stay with me. She grabs a glass from the bar, smashes it on his head. It kills him, both in the Victory Project and in real life. In real life, his eyes go lifeless and the lights on the contraptions go out. And it is alerted to Frank immediately that Jack Chambers is dead, which makes sense, that part. Bunny enters into the house and sees that Jack is dead. Side note, why is his body still there? We later find out that if you die in the Victory Project, you die in real life. So she's killed Jack. That's done. He's dead in both lives. But the machines clicked off. He's not actually there, right? This is a simulation unless it's like, if she's actually there in that moment, if you can feel pain, if you can die, then I guess technically you are actually there, but it's kind of like astral projection in a weird way. This is the metaverse, right? If I kill you in real life, do you stay alive in the metaverse? That got dark, but you get my point, right? Shouldn't his body be gone now? Like there should just be blood. He's gone, right? No? What are the rules of the simulation? We then get a bunch of exposition from Bunny because Jack told Alice, because Alice was freaking out, like, oh my God, the kids, the wives, are they all prisoners? He's like, I don't even know the other wives. I don't even know the other men. I don't know who they are in the real world. I wouldn't even know where to look. I don't know. Don't get mad at me. It's just me. I do what I do. Everyone else is up to their own thing. Don't look at, we were all doing the same things, but it's not the same thing because I don't know that. Not that he's actually saying that, but that's the implication. He also told her that the children are not real. The children are part of the Victory Project. They are simulations as well, basically. Bunny is like explaining that she volunteered. She chose this. She is not trapped here like the other wives. She chose to do this because my children are here. And Alice is like, no, the children aren't real. And yes, to me, they are. They're real to me. Out here, I didn't lose them. I get to keep them in here. So she's fine with letting all the other women be prisoners and not know what's going on and not have free will and belittle them and make them feel crazy when they start questioning things so that she can have her children. I'm assuming her husband must know. Her husband was very aggressive about, Frank is a very powerful man. She's like, you have to get to headquarters to get out. If they're going to kill you here, you'll die out there. Or they'll kill you out there. They're going to kill you in the real world, I think is the line though. They obviously know where Jack lived because they had to make sure, because they would have had to come and confiscate the thing if he wasn't making his projects. Because he's saying, anyways, she flees. The red men come after her. The guys come after her. She drives over Bunny's husband and she goes and drives. She's driving. They're chasing her. She does a little baby driver maneuver. 3 of the cars explode. She makes it to the headquarters. She presses into it. We get some sequences of eyeballs again. We get some sequences of Bunny dancing with her children. We get some sequences of her dancing in the real world, and I think in Victory. And then title card, Don't Worry, Darling, a waking up gasp, but we don't see her. So it's like she's waking up. The end. Side note, at one point, Frank is like getting updates, find her, stop her, on the phone. She never leaves the house. Shelly's just there. So she just gets up, stabs him in the stomach, twists it, and says, it's my turn now, you idiot, or something. I don't know. She calls him something. Couple of things. One, Margaret's definitely dead. She definitely killed herself. That's what happened. She died. So there was actually a bunch of scenes with Margaret that apparently were cut from the movie. One scene in particular that I think would have made sense if they had kept it was there is a scene where she is wearing a red dress, wearing a necklace that I think was clearly made to cover the slit in her neck. So my theory of what that scene might have been was that Margaret is now essentially like one of the children. She is now a simulation. She is now essentially a non-playable character, like kind of like the trolley driver. She has a few things she can do and that's really it. And it's just to keep up appearances for the husband maybe. And that's why she's at that party. And I think that would make a lot more sense for kind of contributing to why Alice gets so distraught. Like maybe she tries to talk to Margaret and Margaret is just looking right through her or is clearly not actually there or it's not actually Margaret. And that sets Alice off. So is her husband just gone? Like, is he just kicked out of the Victory Project because she's dead? It's like you couldn't do your job. You couldn't protect your wife. You couldn't keep your wife in line. So you lose access to the Victory Project. So they just yoinked his access? Is that what it was? My guess is that they yoinked it. She's dead. So what? Does he have to deal with the consequences of his dead wife? Because they all lived. I'm assuming that was the thing. Peg being pregnant all the time. The kids are not real. But she's pregnant. Is that just a belief that she has that she's pregnant? Is that part of the simulation? Is she not actively pregnant? Is this part of the simulation? When she gives birth, is she going to remember giving birth? Or is there not going to be an actual birth and there's not going to be is that also part of the simulation? Is she actively pregnant in the real world and so that is exhibited in the Victory Project? Because if she's always pregnant, but she's also part of Victory, it implies that her husband is assaulting her the entire time, which it's kind of back and forth because it's my understanding that the sex happening inside the Victory Project is happening in the Victory Project, especially with how we are shown Jack laying next to Alice in the real world. It's Sword Art Online meets the Stepford Wives, right? That's fine. That works. It's all happening psychologically. It's like REM sleep. Your body's frozen, but you like it's happening in your brain. But so then she's not really pregnant, right? Then it's part of the simulation. She's probably not pregnant. Jack's whole thing with Alice. Okay. So like I said in the background, we are shown that Jack was feeling essentially inadequate, but also feeling neglected by Alice being the breadwinner and working a full-time job. Again, very reminiscent of Stepford Wives with the high-powered women and the kind of meek man. Even high-powered, she's exhausted, she's working all the time. That's the whole thing. And so he straight up says to her, it's like, you were miserable. And it's like, you weren't happy. You were working all the time. It's like, yeah, but it was my life. It was my choice to work. You don't get to take that from me. It's partially that he's inadequate by that. And he feels that she should have time for him. His actual reality of the situation which is Alice gets to live in this fantasy world all day and take care of the house and go shopping and make friends and live in this colorful, beautiful life. When all the men go off to work, they're not really going to work for the Victory Project. They are exiting the Victory Project and waking up so that they can go to the real world and do their jobs in the real world, so that they can continue to make money to pay for the house that they actually live in the real world, and basically pay for their lifetime subscription to the Victory Project for their wives to continue to live as like simulation slaves. You know, like that's what the reality is. And he's like, I hate it. I hate that I have to leave here. You get to stay here. And I feel like there'd be more resentment from him from that. I don't think there's anything wrong with showing him being upset with her or having resentment for his wife, especially with the reveal. You have him showing him as like this doted in love husband the entire movie. And I don't think that works. The only time you see him not being the doting husband is when he's trying to appease Frank, which I do think is good. That him trying desperately to get Frank's approval. And again, there's no reason for me to think that the promotion is anything other than like hey, welcome to the new level of my inner sanctum, of my inner circle. You're in the close friends Instagram chat, you know, that type of shit. That's all it seems to be. You get a ring for a ring's sake, you know. Oh, senpai noticed me, you know, that type of shit. I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with showing like, yeah, I am doing what I'm supposed to do, and my wife is the one getting all the enjoyment and the pleasure and all of that. I think he would be more upset. You can be in love with someone and still be a piece of shit. People do that all the time. It's not good love. It's not right. But it's a thing that happens. And I don't think that would be out of place here with Jack. I think he would have resentment for her, even though he's telling himself that he loves her and that he's doing this for her. Because he's not just doing it for her. He's doing it for himself. He wants the approval from Frank. He wants his idea of a perfect life. He wants the doting wife, the hot wife. He wants all of that. And then he decides, I want children. And so that's something that they start talking about, or at least he tells everyone they're trying before they've even really had a conversation about it, because that's the decision he's made. And so I just think that there's a way to demonstrate Jack's character better than what we got, because it's just kind of not fleshed out enough at all. I feel like he would be more upset with her. I think that type of person would then be upset when there is more work to be done. Like, he's done the hard part in his mind of like, okay, I got her. She's mine again. I give her this life. She gets to be my wife. She gets to do this. I get to come home to this. And then he gets more and more angry that he has to leave every day, leave her. I don't know. The resentment would make sense. That's all I'm saying. The plane, was that just her subconscious wondering about Margaret's son? And so that's why she saw the red plane go down. It was just her subconscious being like, hey, go look over there. Because no one else saw the plane. It wasn't a real plane. So it had to have been her subconscious, right? So how much of her perception in the Victory Project is her subconscious, and how much of it is the simulation glitching or the simulation not doing what it's supposed to? You know, like how much of it is her conscious? Then it's like we're all in the same chat room, but like we all have different views of the conversation getting played out, you know? Like I feel like there'd be more discrepancies there if that were the case. And then also the trolley driver, was he a real person or was he a computer thingy from the simulation? Because that's not my route. I can't go that way.
The fact that you have the loud earthquake-like vibrations, not just in the movie for the whole first half, but also in your trailers, and make a point of talking about it in the trailers, and then you don't have a conclusion to what that is at all. And someone on TikTok was saying, it's them leaving the simulation. No, it's not. Because half the time, it's when the men are already outside of Victory, or, in the case for the start of the movie, Jack is right there. The men have not left for work yet. So it's not like, oh, they're exiting the Victory Project, and so that's them waking up. It has to be something else. But they never explain or even imply what that could be.
The ending with Frank. I don't know why the ending with Frank operated the way that it did, because he basically is playing chess. In his mind, he's toying with Alice. Alice killing Jack. Was that supposed to be a commentary about how these men are all actually cowards, and that when push comes to shove, they will just hide in their little caves with their little podcasting microphones? Was that what that was meant to be? Because I guess I kind of get it. Kind of makes sense. But basically with what we saw about him doing that, I don't know, I feel like he would be like, no, I'm going to confront her. I'm going to go. I will challenge her to a debate. And so I feel like he would find a way to go after her if that was the case. Or even like send more people after her, like calling all the men go get her, type of thing. When Alice is walking out and all of the women are seeing the blood on her and the husbands are seeing the blood on her, Violet's husband is like, you said this wouldn't happen. Like that the women wouldn't know, they wouldn't ask questions. And then Bunny's husband says, shut the fuck up, like don't talk like that. Don't talk about it. But the lights outside their houses start shattering. And it's like, okay, is that supposed to imply that they're all also waking up, that they're realizing something? What? Again, how much of this is the simulation and how much is it based on their perception? Yeah, why wouldn't they have nicer houses if that was the case, or have better things? Whether they've been trained to believe certain memories or not. Like there's certain, I don't know, I just think Frank knows that she's escaped. He's getting updates. Shelley's just kind of there listening to everything. So Shelley must know. She must know. And so Shelley again kills him and says like, you're done. Shelley must have a different contingency plan because the other wives, or at least in Alice's case, Jack put her in and out of the Victory Project. She could not do it herself. She was, again, basically held hostage in an apartment in the real world. Shelley must have a different option because if you kill Frank in the Victory Project, he dies in real life. So she can't be... God, how tied is this to Frank then? Was her killing him killing the Victory Project? But then no, because we see in one of the flashes, we see Bunny dancing with her children because that's what makes this worth it for Bunny. Bunny is fine with other women suffering as long as she gets what she wants, which is her children. Your time is done, my time now type of thing. Was she just okay with it because she wanted that power? Was she biding her time so that she could kill him because she hates him? I don't really know. But then also how much of this, Frank is a god to these men. They're not going to respond well to Shelley taking over. They just won't. It's not sequel bait. It's just like, that's not going to go well. These types of men will not respond well to the wife of their god basically taking over.
Sorry, I keep thinking about this movie too hard. The song thing was stupid. I think it was a ploy done so that you could have a Harry Styles song on your soundtrack as another way to sell bits of this movie. It's something that Alice hums pretty much the entire movie, and she's trying to remember where she heard it from and trying to find out what the name of it is because it's stuck in her head. Hearing Jack sing it triggers her to remember everything past the electroshock therapy and actually know what's going on. However, she knew that she knew it from Jack because when she tells Bunny at the beginning when she's humming it, and Bunny's like, you have to stop humming that song. Do you know what it is? Jack was singing it. It's been stuck in my head. She knows it's from Jack. So Jack singing the song shouldn't trigger anything for her because he would have sung it before. And sure, now she's had the electroshock treatment. But still, I think the song thing was a ploy to get a Harry Styles song on your soundtrack.
So when she went to the headquarters the first time and when she saw the plane crash, she woke up, apparently. But then Jack must have put her back under because that's what happens when you go to headquarters. You wake up. That's what she did. She woke up. She must have. And that's why she started having all these memories because she partially woke up, which also, I don't know, I feel like that could have been a really cool, creepy scene. But then also with the dinner party when Frank says, you went to headquarters and put everyone in jeopardy. Jack's surprised. Jack's like, what did you do? He would have known. He had to have put her back under. So his reaction doesn't even make sense unless he's faking that reaction, which, I mean, I guess he would have to be. But then again, it seems like there's choices that are made that are like, we're trying to hide Styles' acting. That sounds bad. But like that it was a very weird reaction if he had to have been the one to put her back under. I so very much could keep going, but I probably should stop there. All in all, my guess with why they didn't try to wrap up the ending anymore was that it would have had to have been too close to the Stepford Wives, because what happens at the end of the Stepford Wives, it's a fun movie if you want to go watch it, is that the women are all kind of woken up from their programming and go back to how things were and put the men through what they went through to kind of teach them a lesson, basically, in Stepford. The women all waking up, all coming out of this and realizing what their husbands have been doing to them probably would have been too close to the Stepford Wives, and that's why they didn't go that route. They kind of left it more open-ended, like she is awake. However, like, how public is the Victory Project in the real world? Again, we needed more time. I really think if this execution had been done well, if they had sped things up in the beginning, or even... I hate saying make the movie longer because that's just, I don't think movies are too long these days. It's a little over 2 hours, the movie. And the time frame, I think, is fine. But the pacing, maybe speed up the pacing a bit at the start to fix things. Choices were made. I just didn't agree with most of them. I don't have a problem with incels being the villains of these stories. I think there should be more of these because I do think there's a lot of ammunition there. I thought Frank was a good character. I wish he had been utilized way better in the final act because I don't think that he was utilized well at all. Same with Shelley. I would have loved to have understood her motivation more at the end with killing Frank. I just don't think it makes sense, especially with the role that she's been playing, unless she just automatically lost respect for him in those moments where we kind of get a sense that maybe that's what's happening with how she's watching him as he's dealing with, or not even dealing with, Alice fleeing. And so maybe that's why she kills him, where suddenly he just loses all respect in her mind. And so she's like, okay, yeah, you're done. You've lost your chance. But I don't know. I feel like it could have been executed better. The actors were too good for this movie. Anyways, that's going to be it. Did you watch Don't Worry, Darling? Are you at all familiar with the Don't Worry, Darling drama? Are you mad that I didn't cover the Don't Worry, Darling drama? And so you're just like, what are you talking about? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder, I have a podcast, the Swell Entertainment podcast. Reminder, I have merch like that mug back there. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting on Patreon. If you also like to support on Patreon, that'll be listed down below. Like to follow me on social media, it'll be all up here. That's me. Have a lovely day. Goodbye. It just definitely feels like there was a crayon taken to the script and they were like, okay, let's change this and move this. And this means this. The end. Gasp away.
Thank you, Alan, Cameron, Christopher, Chris, Crash PC, China, David, Dirty One, Don, Elliot, Evan, Eric, Ayal, Hopeless, Incognito, Jacare, James, Joe, John M, Jordan, Joseph, Kenny, Kim, Kristen Lamb, Lexi, Luis, Matt O, Matthew S, Meme Lord, Michael J, Micah, Nathan, Nathaniel, Pat Penn, Richard, Rob, Red, Robert Ross, Sam, Serena, Skylar, Simon, Tasha, Timothy, Tom, Cutie, Randy, Wendy, Williams, Endries, Wink.